And I feel like I'm not sure I want to be stuck in this race of being another environment that has the coolest and latest of everything. What are we doing that people are not doing? That's the question that goes around. I'm not sure I care anymore. I care more about the question, what is God wanting us to do? And who does he want us to be? And as I read this text and I look at the view that Paul had of God's family, and I look at what Scripture says about church, have we made church something different? It fits. It fits here. It's easy and it's comfortable. Is it right? Is it God's desire? And I think God is wanting us to pause in this season and go after maybe something different. Can you imagine if you walked in and you started encountering relationships that are going to be life-giving and life-changing to you? Forget about everything else. And that becomes so powerful and so supernatural. It's starting to change you. It's starting to take off any scales of nastiness that you have. And the gospel is coming in, and those relationships not only become family, they become stronger than family, because some of us maybe don't have that at home. Some of us have not had that kind of a background. We don't come from that kind of a tight experience, a family that really wants to spend time together. Some of us maybe didn't have a father or a mother or siblings. We have no idea what we're even talking about. And what if church becomes that? And what if this community of believers just decided, oh, wow, love and affection is so supernatural here. It's not something that you can get in any store that does a good job with customer service. This is an above and beyond super spiritual thing almost. I can't even put my finger to it. It's spirit-filled and spirit-empowered. I don't know about you, but I feel that's the community I want to be. Let me give you one more point. Point number 2. Live out a supernaturally evident and contagious love and affection. Live out. Not only think, believe, live out a supernaturally evident and contagious love and affection. Did you catch the words that Paul uses in verse 1 when he refers to these Philippian believers? In verse 1, he says, my brothers, yes, we talked about that, whom I love. I long for, my joy, my crown, my beloved. What does that say in how he's expressing himself towards them? These are real people with real relationships. They're not there for a production. They don't care. I don't know about you, but I crave to be this church where these kind of things happen. Not a church where we're driven by just ourselves, our sense of, self-pity and arrogance and self-centeredness where, I'm the one doing everything around here and, nobody ever gives me a hand and blah, 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 blah. Have you ever been in those environments? You feel like you're constantly on that competition of who does more and it's always out of the wrong motive? What if we threw all of that out and understood from Christ what he did, what he humbled himself and had a supernatural love? What is that? How can we be that kind of a church instead of an amazing church that does amazing customer service? What does it mean to have a supernatural love? And I think, do you remember Jesus' words in John 13? He says, I have a new commandment for you. And I'm going to give it to you in John 13:34. Love one another, just as I have loved you. You are to love one another. And by this, listen to this, by this, people will know that you are my disciples if you have love for one another. So Jesus said, I have championed something new. And I expect you to do the same. What does he say? I have loved you with a supernatural love, a love that made me proceed, go forward with a humble posture, not exploiting my rights, my privileges as God, but serving the interest of you all undeserving sinners at cost to me. Go do the same. I don't know if you've ever stopped and really just let that go in. Go love the same. Church, can we just do that? Isn't it fascinating that Christ never said, we need to make sure that as a church, we send out mailers, flyers, door hangers, we do outreach and evangelisms and, blah, 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 and we add all these strategies, and we're, going brain dead, trying to think, okay, how do we reach the area and the community? And Christ has given us the recipe in one single statement. If there's one thing that's going to attract people, that is going to confirm to them that you're following me, is a supernatural love that they're going to see as you're living life together. The same love that I have given you. Now, I want to ask you this question. Have you ever walked into a church like that? Not a church that has given you all of the steps, right? Oh, you're in the parking lot, people are spinning the signs, and, they walk you in, and, you have somebody smiling at you. Oh, let me catch your name. Let me put you into our system. Here's a little connect card. You can connect with us. And now, hey, here we go. Here's the connect group. He's going to invite you to a Bible study. And then at the Bible study, you meet the men's pastor, and he's going to take you to a men's group. And, eventually you get breakfast with the senior pastor, and, then you get into a members class, and right? That's on average 9 churches out of 10. And I think I'm being conservative. Have you ever walked into a church and you saw this? You saw something supernatural about their love and their being family. These people really sing. They really hear God's word. They really love each other. They really care about breaking bread together. They care about each other at such a level. I want in. And that day, you don't even remember what lights they had, what style of music they had, what colors was on the walls. You don't remember what happened in the lobby. Something else got your attention. And is what Christ is saying. The best comments you can get is when people feel like I came in here and I felt I was at the top of the world. You've treated me like royalty. I don't get that everywhere I go. Something is different. Do you know at the end of the day what people are looking for? Just that. Just that. People are not looking for a building that, oh, come and check my church. We have this and we have that. But people are looking for this. For an environment where I don't have to pretend. I don't have to play the legalistic game of, I did my Bible and I did my prayer and I joined so many groups and follow the bullets and check off your lists. And people are not looking for that. There's enough judgment out there. People are looking for an authentic environment they can connect to, where they see something spiritual about their love. Now really pause and think about, maybe for some of you, this is decades of church experience. Maybe for some of you, this is the first church you've ever come to. And I'm saying this even against myself and against what we've been doing as a church. Because I think it needs to start with me, with us. When have you seen that? That you could point the finger and say, that was supernatural. In other words, that is not something that could have been potentially achieved by any human efforts, either here or somewhere else. There was something supernatural. I don't know about you, but I've decided when I was reading this, studying this, and praying, God, I got to stop. I got to stop and let this sink in. What are you trying to tell me? Because I think he's trying to tell me, Andrea, that's the church that I want to build. There's plenty of environments with bells and whistles. That's not what I have planned for you. And I think, son, as he was talking to me, some of your frustrations, some of your tensions have come from trying to fit into a model that maybe is not my model for you. So I'm wondering, what if we were to go on a journey together through the rest of this chapter, through whatever God has next for us after Philippians? Whenever, by his grace, we're going to finish it. I couldn't even finish verse 1 today. Good luck, right? But what if we were to let God speak to us, and week after week, see what happens, and let God say, hey, this is the church I want you to be. This is my DNA, my design for this new community of brothers and sisters together. What if God takes over? And we say, God, here I am, send me. Let me be part of that. What if people walked in here and they could care less about everything else, but they saw something supernatural about how we are with one another? I think this is revolutionary. Can you imagine entering into a church where people didn't have to prioritize and delegate Christianity down to a 90-minute package, and that's hoping that the pastor doesn't go over 90 minutes, that's like already too long, but where relationships are so strong and loving. If you've ever had any of those strong, loving relationship, time becomes secondary. Have you had maybe a family gathering or an experience with some friends? You brought them over, or you went to their house, and you were having such a blast. It was so life-giving, and then you were so filled. You looked at the clock, you're like, oh my gosh, it's like 11. We started last night. Hello? And your body is saying, you're dead, but your spirit and your soul and your heart is like, can you imagine if church was like that? And we were not consumed with some product, some structure that we've created that is enslaving us and puts the power of God aside at the expense of that because we got to follow a structure of some sort or a program. Can we be this kind of a community of believers where I'm in your life, you're in my life, I need you, you need me. It's nothing else but that, and it's so evident. It's so powerful because some of us maybe we're not blessed with that kind of family at home. And this could be it, where we get so tight, so together, so loving, so affectionate with one another. I don't want to go home. This is where I feel even more spiritual. Can you imagine a church like that? I don't know about you, but that's where I want to go.